Right, I thought I'd make a short clip discussing what I call my Asbo crankshafts for the 500 Royal Enfield Bullets. And today I've got a pair of crankshafts. I've got an ordinary one as supplied by the factory and a standard engine, and next to it I've got one that I've just completed for one of my Asbo builds. It'll actually be Asbo 43, this a 500 bullet. Crankshafts are basically, I split them, do whatever work may or may not be necessary in the big end department. In the case of this one, the engine was blown up, the piston failed and the conrod ended up bent and twisted, so I had to take it all apart to sort that out and change the conrod. It already had a roller big end in it which was in good condition, so that's been reused. And the builds can vary from brand new conrods and big ends, brand new conrods with good big ends, old conrods with new big ends, whatever's necessary and whatever the customer wants really. It's down to my discretion sometimes to decide whether the big end is up to much more further mileage or not. But anyway, in the case of this one, the big end was, well, like new really, and it was a roller big end, so in it went. The cranks themselves, I split the crank assemblies and then get the crank pin out, and each flywheel I machine them down to a smaller diameter and narrower from the inside face and the outside face, and overall I end up reducing the overall weight of a crank assembly by perhaps about 1.2 to maybe even 1.5 kilograms, which sounds like a lot until you bear in mind that the crank probably still weighs well over 8.5 kilograms, maybe 9, and you wouldn't want to drop it on your foot in any case. But the weight that's gone really helps liven up the performance of the engine. The acceleration is greatly improved. There's no loss of torque. A lot of people think that heavy flywheels equate to torque. They don't. Heavy flywheel stores power. Now, by reducing the weight of the flywheels, we're allowing more engine performance to get through more quickly to the rear wheel, so that's where we get our acceleration from. And really, power is a sort of measure of work done versus time, so you're increasing the power. The thrust from the piston through the conrod to the crank has got less inertia to overcome. The engine spins up faster and the power moves down the drivetrain to the rear wheel much more instantaneously, and you get much faster pickup of RPMs and acceleration. And also, another bonus is that actually when you throttle off for a corner and want to brake, the brakes will feel stronger because you haven't got all that mass of the flywheels rotating trying to push you on. A lot of that has gone, so the brakes actually even feel sharper too. Another thing is, if an engine's got a high compression piston in it and you find you've got tendencies towards pinking, well, I've got tricks with the valve timing to overcome that. I don't really like backing off the ignition timing to sort it out, because that's just the wrong way around the problem really, because as soon as you go off the ideal ignition timing setting, you're throwing power away anyway. So but the lighter crank, because it can get away from top dead centre more quickly when the engine fires, there's even less likelihood of any pinking problems as well. So all round, I can't see a downside for this at all. And one other is that, provided that you've got the crank nice and true when it's put back together and the main shafts are running nice and true, the reduced weight, obviously I've rebalanced it back to the original specs. So the balance factor is the same as it was before, same as that one. But also the main bearings get an easier life because there's less weight. I mean, obviously, even though the crank is balanced, it's not perfectly balanced when it's spinning, and there is obviously, when you run a single cylinder engine especially, you can feel it. When you rev it, you can feel the sort of vibrations and the power pulses and whatever. Well, you've got something that's 1.2 or 1.5 kilograms lighter than it was before, spinning in the same spec main bearings, they're going to have an easier life and last longer too. So, like I say, I can't really see a downside to it, but that's what I do, and that alone will increase the engine power. And once it's done, what a fantastic bottom end of an engine to start improving the top end of, to really get it going somewhere. And you can get tremendous performance from them, and also 1.2 to 1.5 kilograms weight saving there. You'd have to drill a hell of a lot of holes all around the motorbike to dump that much weight, but it's all gone from here. So you've also got your entire motorcycle is that much lighter as well. Not just you're not just getting the benefit of the lighter crank spinning up faster and all the other things I mentioned, but the motorbike itself is also a good bit lighter as a result of doing that. So it really is a must for me. But anyway, I thought I'd just discuss that, and that's what I do here, and that's a big part of the Asbo bullets, and making them go faster than standard, and it's worked wonders. I'm so glad I decided to do it in the first place years ago. There's a lot of them out there now, and as of yet I haven't heard any complaints.